Good afternoon, North Carolina A&T State University. How you doing? Aggie, right? All right, it must be homecoming. Everybody's excited. Outstanding, outstanding. North Carolina A&T will play the Hampton Pirates on Saturday at 1 p.m. from Truist Stadium, and it will be the greatest homecoming on earth. We have with us our special guest this week, quarterback Justin Fomby. We also have defensive back Janaz Sumter, but I know you want to hear from the man himself, our head coach, Mr. Vincent Brown.
Aggie Pride! Aggie Pride! How exciting it is for GHO. Last year, I got a chance to experience this for the first time and see what all the noise, all the magnitude, and what the scale of this really means. And I know how exciting it is to welcome back tens of thousands of Aggies for homecoming. It'll be an exciting weekend, one filled with a lot of activities for the alums. For us, it's all about focusing on the next opponent. This past week couldn't have come at a better time for us, the bye week, given the nature of the number of guys that we've had beat up. Kind of to update you on what we spent this past week doing, we did a real deep dive self-scout on ourselves in all three phases of the game. What are we doing well? What aren't we doing well? And how do we fix it? And what's the nature of why we aren't able to do certain things well? And so we took a real hard look at what we're doing, who we're doing it with, and really kind of went back to the basics of how do we take the young men that we currently have available to play and put them in the best position to succeed on Saturday. In spite of all the changes in college football, there are no waiver wires. So we have who we have. And so it's our job to take the young men in our program, figure out our best way of putting them in position to succeed. Offensively, we know we have to score more points. Defensively, we know we have to stop giving up explosive plays. And so spent a great deal of time working on the fundamentals of what are the things that cause those explosive plays to happen defensively. And then again, offensively, finding ways to put our young men in position to succeed. We got our younger players significant reps at practice, trying to develop some depth. Young men that really haven't played much this season, some of whom played a little bit in our last game against the Spiders, trying to find a way to feature our best players offensively. And if you go back and watch our game against Richmond, we had a couple of explosive plays, something to be really excited and to build on. And then we spent time out on the road as a staff recruiting, looking for the next generation of Aggies to come in and help us get this thing going in the right direction. I think our young men have been phenomenal. There's been great energy at practice. No one is down. We're excited for the next opportunity to play. And we talk to our players all the time, like, you don't have to play. You don't have to practice. You get to play. You get to practice. It is truly a privilege to be able to play this game, and you need to relish every moment that you have, because there's one certainty as a player, and that your time will come to an end at one point someday. And so you better take advantage of every opportunity you have to fellowship, to teamwork, to bond with the guys that you're going to war with. Now, on to Hampton. They came off a very disappointing, heartbreaking loss against URI a couple of weekends ago. They have some really talented players. They got two quarterbacks that they play, Malcolm Mays and Chris Zellis, who's from right here in Greensboro. They have a very good running back. and Elijah Burris, strong, hard to tackle. They do a very good job offensively of spreading the field, making you defend the entire field with their zone read game. Defensively, they got a couple of really challenging players inside. They got a big defensive tackle who's disruptive. They have an edge guy that can put pressure on the quarterback. When they get you into 3rd and long, they have a pretty exotic pressure package in which they get after people. And so we know we're going to be in for a very exciting and challenging contest. But at the same time, we've shared with our guys, we have enough. We have enough with who we have. We have enough. We just have to eliminate the things that cause us to lose games. We got to put a complete game together in all 3 phases. Our last game out, people talked about, well, you guys are getting better. You got close. And that's true. But it's the mistakes that ultimately cost us that last game. And once we are able to minimize those mistakes, we'll win the game. So with that, I'll open the floor for any questions.
One of those issues was obviously run defense. That's where you struggle this year statistically. I believe last in the CAA in run defense. Over the break, what did you identify, and I guess what corrections do you think you put in place?
Yeah, so the biggest issue has been misfitting runs from a schematic standpoint, and the things that we've worked on with our second-level players. With first level players, making sure they understand where their gaps are and fighting like heck to stay in their gaps. At the second level, we've gone back and done a tremendous amount of drills to focus in on eyes and where your eyes should be relative to what the offense is doing and fitting your gaps. We've also taken a good look at ourselves from a coaching staff standpoint and looked at what we're calling that may be creating some of the problems. So I think we've gone in and tried to address, hey, here are the fundamental issues with the players up front. Here are the issues that we've created by the things that we've called that have allowed some of these explosive plays to happen.
That's one more defensive guy, defense coordinator, excuse me. Do you still feel the urge just to kind of step in there more, or?
Yeah, so I mean, we in everything that we do, we work collaboratively. You guys know what I'm trying to say, but we work together. So even with the structure of what we're doing, and it's my job to make sure that we're doing things as best and as efficient as we can. And so I've spent time with the offense and I've spent time with the defense, taking a deep dive at what we're doing and making suggestions on, hey, let's do this. This will help us down the road.
Coach, with that deep dive, have you guys as a coaching staff had to really have that heart-to-heart kind of figuring out what you guys have been doing that has not been working and translating on the field?
Oh, absolutely. It's not about what we know as a coaching staff. It's about what the players know and what they can execute. And we have made a point of emphasis throughout the course of the season, especially defensively, because defensively, mistakes cause you to lose. And we'll literally, look, we won't call it if you don't know it. If you don't feel confident that you can go in and execute it, we won't call it. And sometimes it's just, we have to be able to take a deeper look and assess whether they know it or not through our reps and the mistakes that are made over the course of the week. And so we've taken a good look at that and really kind of reshuffled our thought process where, look, if they're not able to execute it by Thursday, don't call it. Don't call it, because we know it'll lead to an explosive play.
So in that case, is it still the same scheme, or can you make like a wholesale change in your scheme in a week?
Well, I don't think you can throw out your scheme. I think you make adjustments to what you're doing, and you just find a way to execute what you're doing at a higher level.
Coach, we talked before the Richmond game that, things weren't all going to change overnight, but having that game going into the bye week, just momentum-wise, how important was that to have something positive to take away from that game?
Yeah, that's a top 25 team in the country, and we're right there. And, we did better in a number of areas. And I think our kids see that when we mitigate some of the challenges and not beat ourselves, we give ourselves a chance to be in the game. But at the end there, we turn the ball over, momentum changer there. Even though they didn't get points on that possession, it changes the momentum. And I think confidence is born of demonstrated ability. And so when you can demonstrate that you can go out and execute against one of the top 20, 25 teams in the country, that should breed confidence in your ability to go out the next week and improve.
On that final drive before turn on down, how did you like the play calling at that point? Did you feel a good idea? You have a good idea about what you guys want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we build into our game plans. Here's what we're going to call in these situations. If it's 4th and 3 and we got to have it, critical situation, what are you calling? Both sides of the ball. We practice all of those scenarios, whether you're backed up, you're in the red zone, you're on the goal line. That's what coaching is. And we felt good about the call. The execution wasn't there, but it was something that we'd repped, practiced, and like I said, we have to do a better job of having answers in those situations.
Coach, only 2 teams in this conference, HBCUs. What are your thoughts on facing an HBCU in this homecoming game?
Yeah, well, I think it's an exciting opportunity to go out and compete against a former MEAC rival. There's great fan support for both institutions. Last year, we were at their place for their homecoming. This year, they're here. There'll be a lot of excitement. And, again, we're just focused on how do we win this football game.
In terms of this game, I mean, what do you think will be the biggest keys to success in terms of getting a W here?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we have to score more points. And then defensively, we've got to stop giving up the big plays. If you look back at our last game, I think we're ahead 10-0, and then boom, big run, and they're right back in the game, and the momentum shifts there. So we have to stop giving up the explosive plays defensively and play a complete 60-minute game on both sides of the ball.
They have 2 quarterbacks that have played. How do you guys prepare for that, or how similar are they in preparation in the 2?
Yeah, so they're both very talented kids. Zealous is a little bit better runner than Malcolm. Malcolm's a little bit better passer, but Malcolm is certainly a capable runner, and Chris is certainly a capable passer. So, what they're doing schematically doesn't really change. The ratio of quarterback runs might change when Chris is in there. He may keep the ball a little bit more than when Malcolm Mays is in, but we know they'll play both quarterbacks, and they have played both quarterbacks throughout the course of the season. So we just have to be focused on doing the things that we need to do fundamentally up front and on the back end to make sure we don't give up explosive plays.
Coach, what did you see from Justin Foamy in last week's game, 2 weeks ago against Richmond, and going into this bye week, to be more prepared for passing the ball and getting those big plays in the air?
Yeah, I think Justin has adjusted to being in the starter role right now. He's shown more confidence, more poise. He's, throughout the course of the season, has done a very good job of leadership, even when Kevin was the starter. But now we see what his strengths are. And so making sure that we tailor, not redesign our offense, just tailor our offense to accentuate his strengths as a player.
Coach, how important was it to have this open week with the majority of the conference season still in front of you?
It's critically important. Every time you get a chance to go out and play conference opponents, you get a chance to put the things in place that we believe are critical to long-term success. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And so being focused on details, fundamentals, next man up mentality, finding a way to feature your best players and to minimize the weaknesses of maybe not your best players, but the kids that have to play anyway. And so, again, we're just excited to have the opportunity to play.
It's been a tough go in terms of forcing turnovers this year. Is there anything that you've tried to install this week for defense that maybe will ramp up the pressure a little bit?
Yeah, we work ball disruption, consistently, constantly. We focus on taking the ball away. And sometimes they come in bunches, just my experience over the years, you'll go, a series of games where you get none, and then you'll have a couple of games where you'll get 4 or 5, within, a couple of weeks. And so we just have to be diligent about drilling that part of it. And probably more importantly than that, offensively, about taking care of the football, because we know, turnovers cause you to lose games. And if we don't give it to them, our chances of winning go up.
Coach, going to come in sort of a whole different environment, but having games earlier in the season, big crowds and atmosphere, Winston State and Central, does that help prepare your players for possibly what to expect Saturday?
I think so. I mean, it was a great environment. Both of those games earlier, one home, one away. And as a team, you have to be able to block all that stuff out and literally focus on the next play, what your assignment is on a down-to-down basis. And then at the end of the game, we say when we win, then you can go out and celebrate.
Hey, Coach, was your familiarity with the Richmond coach thing have anything to do with how well your team played against them or how well you prepared them?
I don't think so. I mean, it's been 14 years or so since, we were together. I think our kids having a greater understanding of what we needed to do helped in the way we executed. But again, if you look at it, we lost the game, and the object is to win. And so, there are no moral victories. You just try to take the things that we did well, build on those, and find a way to mitigate the things that we didn't do well. And that's been our focus over the course of the bye week, fixing a lot of the things that we haven't been able to do well. And we got some new faces in some different roles. But again, I've said it throughout the course of the season, it's a next man up. Everybody's dealing with some sort of injuries or whatnot. So we just got to focus on the next man.
And is your unfamiliarity with working as a head coach, is the film that you've seen enough? Do you compare it with last year, or do you not look at that at all?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't changed offensively at all from what they've done previously. They're running the same system. Defensively, they're a little bit more pressure on third down than what we saw last year, but there hasn't been a dramatic shift from what they've done previously.
Coach, getting a first win in this conference, what does that do for the program in terms of what you're trying to build and the morale in the locker room?
I think it's huge, to be in what is arguably one of the 2 or 3 toughest conferences in FCS football. If you just look at the top 25 polls, you'll on a week-to-week basis see 3 to 4, sometimes 5 CAA teams in the top 25. And we usually end up playing those schools. And so to get a conference win is important. To get a win is more important. It doesn't matter who it is.
What was the injury status of some of your players? Did you get anybody back from the bye week?
Well, I mean, we were hoping to get some guys back. Some of the guys that have been unable to play, there's still questions as to when they'll be available. But we, as I've said, next man up. So we continue to focus on what we have and who we have versus those that we don't have.
What's the status of your transfer, DeAndre Dingle-Quince?
Yeah, DeAndre hasn't played since week 1. And we're hoping to get him back at some point this season.
Hey, Coach, the fact that you've had to play guys that hadn't played a lot before, running back, quarterback, other places, what does it tell you about your recruiting and the kind of guys that you brought in your program?
Yeah, I think, just about everyone that we've recruited has played this season. And we knew coming in, there's a lot of depth we got to replace. There's some talented kids here, some veteran guys that I mentioned earlier that have done a great job of keeping this thing together and focusing on the here and the now. And we know the key to the long-term success of a program is recruiting. And so, like I said, this bye week we took a chance, took our time, and went out on the road to find the next generation of Aggies.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Yep.
First young man that we're going to bring up here has been through quite a few homecomings, so he's a veteran at this. He knows all about it. He's our starting defensive back, Janaz Sumter.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Pride. Oh, okay. I'm Janaz Sumter. I'm from South Carolina. I graduated last year, December 16, 2023. Graduated with a criminal justice degree, and I'm just glad to be here. I could truly say I'm Aggie blood and been here for a decade, so just glad to be here, man.
What does a guy do once he's graduated and still playing football? You having any classes you taking?
Yeah, I'm taking classes. Working on my second degree, but we're gonna see how that goes.
What you working on?
Political science. Switch it up a little bit.
What was the first degree?
Criminal justice.
What do you tell players that have never played in this game what this atmosphere and everything else is going to be like on Saturday?
Right now, we're just really focused on winning the game. We're not really focused. It's a big game. It's GHO. All the alumni is coming down to see us play, and I'm trying to get the guys to just really focus on and trying to win this game. This season has been going good for us, so I'm just trying to focus on winning this game right now.
For those that maybe don't know what this GHO experience is like, what are your favorite traditions? Could you kind of walk us through some of the things that take place over the week and some of your favorites?
Freshman year, I really wasn't playing like that. So, hey, I went out and party, but as I got older, I toned it down a little bit, just trying to focus on winning the game and just seeing all the alumni coming down and just watching us play and stuff. It's a blessing to be here. It's fun to me. It's a good time, man. So that's it.
What's the vibe like in the locker room for you guys as a team heading into this game?
As of right now, or as in everybody got a focus head. Everybody, we still together. Everybody trying to get the win. We haven't got a CAA win yet, so that's our main goal. Just trying to hone in and just win this game. Actually, that's what we focus on right now. Just trying to win.
How important was that bye week for you guys?
Say that one more time.
How important was that bye week for you guys coming at this moment in the season?
It was a good chance for us to hone in together, settle down, regroup, for us a chance to get our body, prepared for this game right here. Because it's going to be a good game. It's going to be competitive, and just hone in on simple, like Coach Brown said, hone in on the mistakes that we can fix and just work on being together, staying as one.
You had an interception a couple weeks ago. You had a big pass breakup in the end zone against Richmond. What was allowing you to see, I guess, to play the belt quicker than normal and make plays in the ball?
Like Coach Brown said, just calling the plays that the players know that we can do our job and that everybody as a team can come as a unit. And sometimes players got to be players. I've been here for a while, so at some point it has to click in for me. Like, okay, the younger guys can't do it. So I got sometimes the big guy got to step up and do their job. So that's it.
Hampton so far this year, I believe about 51% converting third downs, a pretty high percentage. What do you believe will be the biggest keys in terms of, stopping them, not allowing them to convert this week?
Scheme wise, you can talk to my coach about that, but as a player wise, everybody just doing their job, man. Everybody communicating, everybody just staying focused, doing their one-on-ones, and just having each other back.
In terms of your journey at A&T so far, I know you alluded to it a little bit before, but just how do you summarize your career, what it's been like, playing for the Aggies so far?
It's been A&T was only the one schools that offered me throughout high school, so it meant a lot to me. That's why I'm still here today. I don't believe in the transfer portal and none of that, because once I'm here, I committed to being an Aggie for life. So that's why I am. And I've been through 3 conferences: MEAC, Big South, CAA. So that tells you a lot.
In terms of your recruiting journey, I know you said, A&T, one of the only ones to give you an offer. What was it like from a recruiting standpoint, coming here as a Division I player but not being as heralded?
Can you elaborate that much more?
I guess in terms of playing at a Division I program like this, but not having a lot of offers, you were saying, what was that like? What was kind of your mindset, coming to a program like this?
A&T is still D1, so me being the first in my family to go to college and graduate was a big honor for me. So hats to me. I know I put in work for this. I'm not like angry about it and go play P5 or a bigger school. Like, I'm happy where I'm at. A&T shows me a lot. It made me to who I am today, and I'm honored.
Naz, what have you done well this year, in your opinion, and what are the things you think you can improve on?
Nobody scored on me yet, so I'm hoping to keep that up. I just want to get more takeaways for my team. I feel like Coach Brown said, takeaway. If we can get the offense the ball back more and more, that give us a better chance of winning the ball game. Thank you.
Finally, we have our starting quarterback, Justin Fomby. Have him come on up. He brought some really big friends with him. So we're going to bring all those guys up here now. Mr. Justin Fomby.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
Come on, y'all. I want to start by setting the room right. So if y'all can bow your heads, close your eyes, I want to say a brief prayer. Lord, I thank you for this day, for this opportunity for us to get out here and do what we do. Not every day we get the opportunity to do the things that we're blessed to do. Sometimes we take little things for granted, like taking a breath. And even conversations like this where we have an opportunity as a family to get closer together. I thank you for allowing us this space and allowing us to have that camaraderie and have that family mindset. I thank you that we have the opportunity to grow together. And even in a tough time, we all bleed Aggie. And I pray that you help us to stay on that track. I pray that you help us to stay together and your glory for everything we do. In your name I pray, amen. I want to start by, my name is Justin Fomby, quarterback. I'm 6-year senior. I graduated from HCU with an interdisciplinary studies degree with a focus in business and psychology. And I'm working on my MBA right now. I brought up these guys because I want to start off by, shouting these dudes out. These are the guys that, one of the things that my Coach Morris had mentioned is that these are some of the guys that don't get a stat line. And it's important to have that, in my position, in our position as a quarterback, these guys are the ones that do the dirty work and they protect us day in and day out. And I wanted to give them their flowers and give them the recognition that they deserve because they put in the work this season. And they've done a great job of protecting me and helping us in the run game. So I want to clap it up for y'all. Yeah, y'all good. So from the right, I want to do it by name, actually. We got from the right side, we have R.J. Adams, Sterling Wiggins. From the guard, we got Corian Sharp. From the center, we got Kellen Cumberson and Cesar Monaro. Left guard, we have Brock Stooks. Shout out, he's in VA right now getting surgery, so prayers up to him. Spencer Webb, he's done a great job of stepping in. Calvin Cunningham has done a great job, off the field and doing certain things to help us to keep things rolling. And from a left tackle position, Jason Ivey and John Kennan have also done a great job of stepping in our role and being those guys. So As far as, opening statement goes, we're not satisfied, but the future looks good on us. And that's one thing that one of my coaches said from, I've been around a lot. So I've taken little nuggets from different places, but, one thing that we always want to have is a joyous mindset and a positive mindset moving forward. A lot of things that happened in the past, we can't really dwell on those things. We can learn from it and move forward, but the future does look good on us. And, that's the mindset that we have to have going forward. So I'm looking forward to, my first GHO. First one, last one, best one is what I say. And, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm doing justice to the Aggie alumni and the Aggie family that we, bring home that win for the family. So any questions?
So, Justin, first of all, it's very few athletes come up here and bring the offensive lineman and say a prayer.
Yes, sir.
So is that as a result of your, as long as you've been playing football, college football, and being grateful and those kind of things? A little bit about your background.
Yeah, my story is a long story. If I got into it, we'd be here all day. But, one of the things that I give a test to is my parents and the way they brought me up. They're big on, integrity, big on being genuine, being faithful, and, giving credit where it's due. Hard work and grab your paint and your pail and your paint and going to work every day. And, that's the biggest thing for me is, honoring those guys that do that. And, my parents have done a great job and attest to them and shout out to them for, instilling those right characteristics in me as a man and not just a football player. So as far as my upbringing, I've been around a lot, I've seen a lot. And like I said, my story is a different one, but, it's made me a better man at the end of the day, a better football player. And, I can always give God the glory because I'm still standing today. So.
And just as a follow-up, how did you happen to transfer from Houston Baptist, Houston Christian to A&T?
It was a situation, when things are out of your control, you want to put your best foot forward. And, I have aspirations to play at the next level in the NFL. And, when you find yourself in a situation where things not necessarily might be the best situation and, they're out of your control, you got to find a way. And for me, it's never running from opportunity or running from anything. It's, finding the one that fits and find the thing that's best for you. And at the same time, still having the integrity, working hard, having that mentality and, fighting through some things. And even a lot of people think that transfer portal guys, they want to run from a fight. And that's never the case. I can speak for a lot of different guys that's been through the transfer portal that, we are the ones that push through adversity. And, our push through might look a little different than some other people's, but having that withstand that because you might take your last snap when you go through that process, and you might not have another opportunity to come out of that process and be on the other side, the positive side of things. So for me, that was a leap of faith, and that faith is you got to have an unwavering amount of faith to be able to go through that situation. But my story, I'll be like I said, I'll be here all day, but it's a good one. So.
How did you stay focused early on in the year? Because I know there was a quarterback battle.
Right.
Ended up going with KJ White to start the first couple games. How did you stay focused and ready for the opportunity?
Right. That's just the mindset. You have to have that mindset every time. You can't allow your mind to slip. And if you do, like we always say, you one play away. And if you're one play away, you have to be ready before that play comes. And if you're not ready before that play comes, you'll find out really quick you weren't ready. And that's when, you find situations where you don't do as well as you should have. You're not able to showcase those things that you're able to do. And, for me, I want to put my best foot forward in every situation that I do, whether it be in the school, on the field, different things that I do, like hobbies, like whatever I do, I always want to do it to the best of my ability because God stewarded me a gift and I have to steward that gift. He gave me a gift and I have to steward it. So that's my thing is no matter what you're doing, you always have to be ready before that opportunity comes. Otherwise, if you try to wait until you're there, it's too late. So.
Justin, going off of that, we've obviously seen from how you started today the leadership qualities that you bring. When you were not starting at the beginning of the season, how did you try to lead? And then just how, since you've taken over the starting role, have you grown in that role?
I think it just comes down to being me. At the end of the day, I feel like I was born with it. And, that's something that you have to steward that, like I said earlier. And for me, that came from, just helping guys to see different perspectives from, some stuff that they didn't see or, talking to Kevin, me and him having great dialogue about what we saw in a certain play. And it's not necessarily about me doing it. It's we as a collective and us as a group, on the offensive side of the ball, having that same mindset and having that same, chemistry from a standpoint of we understand that we all have a common goal. So if something doesn't line up to what goal we're trying to accomplish, having that mindset of, okay, we're going to hold each other accountable in that sense. And I think the guys as a whole, from the entire group, we've all done a great job of that. And me just playing a part and doing my part to, follow that is something that I feel like we've done well together. So.
Justin, it seems like the play calling, you heard it from coach that staff's tried to sharpen their play calling a little bit to tailor what they do to what you do.
Right.
It seems like it worked last game. Do you feel like it's gotten even tighter now in the off week, and what should we expect moving forward?
Moving forward, the whole purpose of our game plan, even from the beginning, was to exploit our, best guys and get the playmakers the ball and let them do what they do. And whether that be, for Kevin early on, just using his legs or just distributing the ball to the guys we have, or me, a guy that's more of a pro-style type of approach, getting our playmakers to rock and letting them rock. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's we adjust and tweak things as we go, even in games where early on we were still adjusting and making tweaks. All of that's still the same. Just you find ways to get your guys the ball and let them do what they do, because they're playmakers and they have the ability to make a play at any point in time. So I think that's the main thing, is just sticking to that plan, staying consistent in that, and letting them do what they do.
You talked about getting your playmakers the ball with Kenji Christian now and Wesley Gray. What can you say that Cameron Danripple has added to the run game and using him to pass the ball to those different playmakers?
Right. He's done a great job of stepping in. I don't know if everybody knows, but he's a walk-on, and his opportunity came and he took advantage of it. And when you got a guy like that that's willing to put his nose in the dirt and go to work, that's something we can always respect and something that we can always hang our hat on. Because at the end of the day, he's going to show up, he's going to put his nose down, and he's going to go to work. And the same way for those guys on the perimeter. They've done a great job from the beginning of the year all the way up until now, and they'll continue to do so. Man, it's a test that they're wanting to be better, and they're wanting to change this thing around from what happened last year, and from a standpoint of they just want to learn. And I've seen that from the day I got here to the day I stand here. These are guys that want to learn football, that want to be the best they can possibly be, and that are not willing to, or they are willing to sacrifice some things when it comes to their ego or some things that they not necessarily like. We feed the family, and that's one of the biggest things that we want to do is get our playmakers to rock and let them do what they do.
Justin, it seemed like Anthony Rucker had a great game a couple weeks ago. Didn't have a bunch of touches leading into that.
Right.
Do you guys have a pretty good relationship when it comes to practice and linking up over there and trying to work on that, or did this come out of nowhere?
Yeah, it's a test of him being patient. We had a situation where a couple of guys went down and he was the next man up, and he was ready for his opportunity, and he's a ball player. I think we believe in every guy that we have on our roster, and the next man up is the next man that goes. And he had a great game just due to the fact that he's been preparing that way for a while, and he's always had the mindset that he's a different guy, and he has a different skill set, and he exploited that on Saturday, and we saw what he can do. And that's just what the whole room looks like from a O-line standpoint, from a receiver standpoint, running back, tight end, from whatever position you want to call it. We have guys that are willing to step up and make that play and just do their job at the end of the day. He did his job great that entire game, and you saw the results happen because of it.
Just from looking at the film, it seems like from the Winston game, from the Wake Forest game to Richmond, your footwork in the pocket really improved. Is that something you've been cognitive of, and who do you, turn to for that type of training?
Right, Coach Marshall's done a great job. He's definitely been honing in on that. Footwork is a major part of this offense, and timing is everything in this position. And understanding that your feet have to tie to your eyes, and understand that your shoulders have to, the fundamentals of the position. You have to have those in alignment in order to be successful at this position at any level. And he's done a great job of coaching us up and honing on the details. And the details are the things that translate between wins and losses. And he's been able to, give us different coaching points on how to adjust certain things, and even specific to body types. He's been the type of guy to really understand that, this foot placement here and, getting more depth in this situation might be the difference between a touchdown and a sack. And he's done a great job of, helping us to, change those things and be better at position for us to be successful and win. So.
In terms of your journey, I know you mentioned, going through some hurdles. If open to it, would you be open to describing maybe what your most challenging things have been and how you've been able to overcome those?
Yeah. So I'll say the most challenging thing that I went through. I'm a Georgia kid, So, I'm from, the 404 area. And out of my freshman year, I went to Northern Iowa out of high school. And it was a culture shock, 14 hours away from the house. I'm a big family man. And, I found myself in a situation, not to talk too much about it, but, being a 3-star recruit and everything like that, I had aspirations of playing at the Power 5 level. And I thought that that's where I was at. And but that's where I should have been. And when you find yourself in a situation where you're not where you would like to be, especially far away from home and your support system is kind of far away, you get to a dark place. And I found myself there. And, through faith and prayer, my family is my backbone. And they were there for the thick of it. They were supporting me even in the times I didn't see it. And, they were able to help me to talk me through different things and help me to see the light in a situation where it was a lot of darkness around me. And, I became a better man at the end of the day. And, for anybody that's going through a situation like that where they feel like they're depressed or suicidal like that, I want to say that, lean on the Lord because he can help you to break through that stronghold right there. Because at the end of the day, like, even if you don't have anybody, the Lord will have you. And that's really the thing I hang my head on is I was able to find that my faith was the strongest thing in that moment, even when I was weak. And, that's helped me to break through a lot of different things. And to this day, I stand because of that. I can't say that if I didn't have that, I would be here today. And, I'm blessed to be able to have this opportunity to come speak and just to have the opportunity to see a different side of things. And I've overcome that. And I always smile at that because I beat it. And I'll never go back to that place again because I know I won. And so once you win that, and that's the thing we're trying to, do this Saturday. Let's get that win. And so that's what I say to that.
One chance to get a homecoming win here at A&T. From what you've heard from the community, from the other guys that have been in this homecoming game, what do you know about what this game means to the community?
Everything. It means everything. I've heard about it since the day I stepped foot on the campus. From the day I stepped foot in North Carolina, they told me how GHO was everything. From the festivities, from the family atmosphere to the tailgates to the game itself. And all of those things are, what makes this university something that's so special. And that's one of the staples in this university is GHO. We all, we recognize that. And the importance of winning this game is at an all-time peak. If we were to sit here and say that it wasn't, a responsibility for us to hold this to I wouldn't say different standard, but, the urgency and importance of having this game, go down our belt as a win is something that we don't take for granted. And, we hold ourselves to an extremely high standard from week to week, but this one it's different. We know it's different. And for me personally, my first one and last one, I want to go out with that one. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to having that win, and we're looking forward to putting on display and a show for y'all that's going to make y'all proud.
Thank you, Pride.
Thank you, pride.
All right, we're going to get started with our radio show, but it looks like we got some good food over here. So go ahead and jump in line and